What is up, everybody? It is your girl Nia, the video game her, and I wanted to come on really quickly and actually make a video about Metroid Prime 4 and what I would like to see from Metroid Prime 4. So first of all, before I start this video, I just want to give a shout out to the homie Rob of Roller to Review. I've been watching his videos about Metroid, and it kind of inspired me to make my video about what I wanted to see from Metroid Prime. Now, you know, I've always kind of had some things that I wanted to see in the next Metroid. But now knowing that Metroid Prime 4 is a real thing that is in development, it kind of makes me a little bit more excited and kind of a little bit more anticipatory on what to expect from the next Metroid. You know what I'm saying? My Metroid high is on 100 right now. I've already pre-ordered Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS, so just looking forward to September when that joint drops and we Gucci. So I just kind of want to frame this video a bit. I want to frame this video about one of the things that ActiveZen Gaming, my homie Alex, who's on Team Red Talks Nintendo with me, always says. And it triggers the hell out of me because, you know, I love Metroid and I hate facing the truth, but the truth is the truth. And he would always say that Metroid is a C-tier franchise because it does not sell. And to be honest, as much as it hurts me, as much as it hurts my soul, Alex is absolutely right. Metroid is one of those cursed Nintendo franchises, if you will, meaning that as beloved as the series is, the sales simply do not reflect that love. I mean, it's considered to be one of Nintendo's greatest IPs, but it doesn't even sell a fraction of what games like Mario and Zelda sell. Even the Kirby games on average sell better than Metroid. I mean, it just is what it is. And I know, you know, the Metroid fan base, for the most part, are the definition of purists when it comes down to the games. Like, they don't really want the games to stray too much from the 2D games or even the 3D games with the Prime series. Even my boyfriend, who's a huge Metroid fan, he kind of wants to burn me at the stake sometimes when I even consider, you know, that the Metroid franchise should change at least a little bit to attract more fans. But to be honest, man, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I'm saying? Like, the game, it needs to expand, and whether that change means that, you know, the formula has to change, or that change means that they have to add some kind of like dope ass Halo-esque multiplayer. You know, Metroid has to switch it up a little bit, or maybe even quite a bit. Now, we all know that a new team is working on Metroid Prime 4. It's a new team based out of Kyoto. It's going to be directed by Tanabe. And the potential of a new team scares a lot of people because, one, you know, with any new team that tried to work on any Metroid game after Metroid Prime 4, there were a lot of issues, there were a lot of controversy around these games. I mean, like, Metroid Other M was made by Team Ninja, Federation Force was made by Next Level Games, I think, and those games were incredibly controversial, very, very mixed reactions from both of those games. And in the case of Federation Force, was just completely exiled completely from from the brains of Metroid fans and Nintendo gamers just in general. So, you know, and also, you know, it's a new team, you know, they're unproven, so it can either be a really good game or it can either be a really bad game. But, you know, I was a little leery at first about the fact that we're going to be getting a new team working on Metroid Prime 4. But, like, the more that I think about it, the more it kind of makes me feel like, well, what if this new team gives a new air or a new cadence to what Metroid brings to the table? You know what I'm saying? Like, the potential of a new team with fresh minds coming in to work on this game is low-key exciting to me when you think about what Nintendo is doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, a new team worked on Splatoon. Now, these are people who have in the past worked on Animal Crossing games, so the fact that they came and made a multiplayer-based third-person shooter and made it successful is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Mario Kart team made ARMS, which is a great game. So One thing that I can say about Nintendo in-house developers is that they don't really make bad games, you know what I'm saying? So the prospect of a new team coming in to make Metroid Prime 4 could be what Metroid needed. And then that also frees Retro Studios up to make either a new IP or make a new Donkey Kong or something else exciting, you know what I'm saying? So on Twitter, I asked the question, should Metroid Prime 4 get the Zelda Breath of the Wild treatment? Meaning, could Metroid Prime forego many of the Prime game's elements while also still maintaining what makes Metroid Metroid? I personally think that it should. For example, Breath of the Wild forewent, how do you say that? I don't know. All of the traditional Zelda formula, but Breath of the Wild still feels very much like a Zelda game. Like the traversal in the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is different. How they decided to go about dungeons is completely different. How they decided to go with Link's clothing, like the traditional tunic is something that they got rid of, is different. You know, they let the players choose how they wanted to dress up as Link. There's so many different like gameplay options. It's not like how it was back in the day. Get this item or this weapon to beat this boss. It's completely based on what the player wants to do in the game. As far as how they could do Samus's suit, it would probably be a little bit more different, considering that Samus's suit is very much connected to her DNA, because y'all know that her suit and her powers were given to her by her adopted family, the Chozo race, who is no longer in existence. So the way that they could do her outfits and stuff like that is a little bit different, of course, than Zelda, but it could still work considering that we've already seen these types of things in previous Metroid games. Like, for example, like in Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, where she gets the Phazon suit, and Metroid Fusion with the Fusion suit. So they found ways to give her different power-ups, and you know, and even with like stuff like the Various suit and like the Power suit, all of her different suits that she has, like they upgrade the appearance of what she looks like on the outside. For those of you guys who PC game, there's this game that I've been eyeing like crazy, but right now it's outside of my price point. Plus it's early access, and I'm not trying to spend that much money on an early access game. But there's this game on PC right now called Osiris New Dawn. And for those of you guys who are not familiar with this game, it is like an action adventure survival game. It's kind of like Ark Survival Evolved, but except it has a sci-fi theme. Now, this game is obviously a lot different than what Metroid is, because this game you can play with your friends and other people to make like a populated world, rebuild a colony and things like that. But one thing that I really do like with Osiris New Dawn is the open world planetary design. And that is honestly one of the things that I personally would like to see come to Metroid Prime 4. You know, like there are some big parts of the map in Osiris New Dawn. There are plenty of terrain to explore, full of enemies. It has like a day and night cycle. You know what I'm saying? There's also like some really dark parts of the planet where it feels really empty and void, and it kind of gives you that really creepy atmospheric feel that you would come to expect from a Metroid game. It's part of the reason why we love Metroid. So I think that something like that actually could work for the Metroid series. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are not okay with the fact or not okay with the idea of an open world Metroid, but you guys have to remember, like, even in the 2D games, there were parts where you'd explore the surface of the planet as well, and then you would burrow through tunnels and such to access more of the map and to discover new areas. I think that could very well work in the context of a more open world Metroid game. Also in Osiris New Dawn, like there's plenty of like abandoned space terminals and things like that that give you that claustrophobic feel that you felt in like the first Metroid Prime game. Or maybe even there could be plenty of like tunnels and things to explore, like even in the old school Metroid games, where you could like go deep down into the depths of like Brinstar and stuff like that, and experience like different parts of that world, different parts of like just the planetary design in general. Like that could be really, really dope. You know, whether or not Metroid Prime 4 has multiple planets or not, it really doesn't bother me. I wouldn't mind hopping from planet to planet and seeing what each planet offers. But to be honest, just a huge planet where every part of the terrain or every part of the planet looks different would actually work for me. Those of you guys who have played Xenoblade Chronicles X, Monolith Soft did this perfectly in Xenoblade Chronicles X. You know, Mira is like one huge place, one huge planet. There are different parts of the planet, different continents of the planet that all have like a different climate, that all have a different terrain, different enemy types, and depending on what continent you're in, it just kind of changes up the game, changes up, you know, what you're looking at visually. I think that would also be pretty cool. Personally, I would be okay if they kept, you know, kept the same style as, for example, the Prime style games. But I do think that if they gave Metroid Prime 4 the Breath of the Wild treatment, made it a little bit more open, made it a little bit more on the style of maybe like a Dead Space or Osiris New Dawn, or maybe like a Mass Effect type of style, where like the visual style, but still keep it, you know, very solo, atmospheric, very focused the way that the Metroid games are, it'll be A1, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I feel like as far as Metroid is concerned. I think that with Prime 4, like they gotta do it up. You know, if they want more people to jump on board, I feel like they're gonna have to change some things to kind of make it a little bit more current, make it a little bit more modern. And yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Tell me how you feel about Metroid. What do you want to see for Metroid Prime 4? Like, in an ideal situation, what would you like to see for Metroid Prime 4? But before I go, in addition to this as the solo single player experience, I think that Nintendo should also throw in some kind of a multiplayer. Like maybe have like a couple of people on the side working on a multiplayer, likened to maybe Metroid Prime Hunters. Throw it in there, because nowadays, you know, when Metroid Prime came out, it was a little bit before its time, if I'm gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a little bit before like we had this big huge shooter craze. But now that shooters are like all the rage, putting some kind of dope multiplayer in there might also help it have more of a wide appeal. I know a lot of people gonna murder me for saying this or unsubscribe me for saying this in the comments, but like that's what people like. You know what I'm saying? Like they could keep the solo experience for the people like us that like the solo claustrophobic atmospheric Metroid, then also have this kind of campaign or no, multiplayer thing on the side for the casuals that just come in who like Halo, who like Destiny, who like the co-op in games like Mass Effect and stuff like that. Anyway, you guys, this was kind of a longer video. I'll talk to y'all. Let me know how you feel in the comments below, and we'll chop it up later. Peace.